Hello all and welcome to hrtech.sg's demo hour exclusive edition for September 2021, where we will be talking about how technology can be leveraged by talent acquisition teams for superior candidate experience, and also how they can hire talent anywhere, anytime. We embarked on the hrtech.sg demo hour event series in 2019 to evangelize and promote use of HR Tech. The event provides a platform for HR Tech providers to showcase their high-tech solutions, thereby aiding the acceleration of adoption of tech by HR teams. The event motto has always been only to showcase demos and not presentations. The first event happened in September 2019 at our WeWork facility in Suntec, Singapore. Now we have moved to an on-demand webinar format. In April, we had our demo hour session focused on organizational network analysis. In May, which was the Mental Wellness Awareness Month, we had 4 mental wellness technology providers showcasing their platforms. Then in June, which was a Pride Month, we had 4 providers showcasing their solutions that cater to the diversity, equity, inclusivity, and belonging space. July was all about talent development providers. August was about talent planning. Now, if you look at the current challenges that are faced by their talent acquisition teams, there are a number of them. Let's articulate some of them here, right? There's shortage of talent due to COVID border restrictions in some countries such as Singapore and Australia, or maybe due to heated market conditions such as in US and India right now. The recruitment process is completely decentralized in a lot of organizations, leading to cost leakages. There's hiring bias due to traditional recruiting methods that depend on the recruiter's intuition more than a candidate's potential. The recruitment teams are arranged in a siloed basis. They work in a siloed basis and so do not talk to each other, again leading to a lot of cost leakages. Lack of candidate persona mapping, which really helps in a targeted approach, that seems to be missing. There's a lack of a data-driven approach. The candidate experience is completely disjointed due to lack of integration and tools. Finally, there is resistance from HR teams to constantly review the existing process. So we have a lot of these challenges that we are currently facing in the market. And that's why today we are showcasing some best-in-class cloud-based comprehensive talent acquisition solutions, Rchilli, SeeMeCV, and Xobin, which assist organizations with superior solutions that can enable faster revenue growth and greater company success by fulfilling roles faster and also hiring better fit talent. Not just that, providing best-in-class candidate experience. So with that, I will now hand it over to Lovepreet from Rchilli for Rchilli's demonstration. Over to you, Lovepreet.
First of all, thank you, Sriram and the team for this opportunity to talk about Rchilli and the solution that we have for the recruitment industry. So I'll jump straight into it, cover the brief introduction in a couple of minutes, and then I'll talk about the solution that we have. And I'll try to focus my talk around the particular challenge that we've seen in the industry of late and how we're helping overcome that. So a quick background about us. So Rchilli is the most trusted partner for parsing, matching, and data enrichment for the global recruiting industry. Our target audience is usually, ATS, CRM, any sort of recruitment app that imports resumes and needs to match them against jobs, and also enterprises who use us for their own in-house recruitment, either from their career page or directly from within whatever ATS that they're using. So we do this by the use of our APIs, which can be implemented into whatever ATS CRM that you're selling or you're using, because like I said, we sell to both HR tech vendors and also to enterprises who may be using a third-party system like Oracle, Salesforce, any of the popular ones. Now, we started way back in 2010, and I've been with the company ever since for almost 10 years now. I completed 10 years in July. And we've seen a lot of ups and downs in the business so far, but nothing has come close to what we've seen in the past 2 years. And rightfully so. It's been chaotic. There's been lots of ups and downs in the workforce. There's been lots of ups and downs in the personal front because of COVID. And I myself have been impacted by COVID. I lost my dad in June. So it's been a rough couple of years to say the least. But in terms of business and specifically in terms of hiring, one trend that we've seen, emerge is people are more inclined to hire you based on a particular skill that you have rather than a particular degree. And what I mean by that is it used to be that you would look for a particular degree in your resume. And if you had that degree, you would automatically get shortlisted. Now it's changed from, you may not have a degree, but you may have the right skill set. And that's one of the challenges that we've seen in the market lately. And rightfully so, because if you look at the labor market statistic of 2020, close to, in America, close to 60% of the workforce don't even have a degree. People who are working over the age of 25. And when you look at 60% workforce not having a degree, how are you supposed to shortlist them, right? How are you supposed to find out who's qualified and who's not? And at the same time, in 2020, according to Udemy, they've seen a 24% increase across the board for upskilling, reskilling courses, which means people are not going for traditional educations because of the climate, but they still want to upskill. They still want to be able to go for that job, because there have been cases, people who've been out of the job market for like decades, they've lost a job instantly, right? And they've had to go back, reskill, and then apply for new jobs. And because of this, we recognize it's important to give the tools to the industry so that the traditional hiring based on education is no longer the go-to. So that's why the product that we have, specifically talking about the taxonomy, and I'll give you a quick demo of it right now. So let me change my screen to our demo here. All right. So I'll start by giving you a quick overview of what a traditional resume parser looks like. It, simply put, it's the process of converting an unstructured resume. And we do that through the use of our API. Oops, I'm signed out. So we do that by using our API, which you can see implemented here. So you can upload a doc, PDF, pretty standard stuff. Candidate comes in, applies with their resume, and you can extract all of the details from the resume. So this is your traditional way of extracting information from the resume and adding it to your database. Now, you'll notice in this particular case, the first employment here is this person at Henry Ford Hospital, and they were a cardiologist. Now, you'll notice this is in red. That's because whenever Rchilli parses a resume, it identifies the job titles as well as skills for that job title. We can do this because we have an extensive taxonomy for skills and job titles, which gives us this intelligence. So therapy, cardiac monitoring, patient administration, these are skills that go hand in hand with being a cardiologist. And not only that, you'll notice below there's something called aliases, which are similar matching keywords that our taxonomy adds on its own. So you get the job title the person was working at while they were at that job, but you also get these similar skills from us. Now, how this helps the end user is, if you're an ATS or a CRM or any sort of recruitment app, you can tag these keywords in your records so that your end user, whenever they search for any one of these keywords, this record will come up. Of course, you can assign weightages. If it's an exact match or not, you can go into in-depth and do that. But this is how it's helping you. And the same thing for skills. We extract operational skills, we extract soft skills, behavioral skills, and each one of these skills is extracted in the JSON. So you're told what the skill is. We format it for you if it needs to be formatted. We tell you the type of skill it is, where was it found in the resume. If there's an experience linked to that skill, we also give you that. And we give you the ontological classification. So where does it fall under the hierarchy? So because of this taxonomy, your traditional search is not just limited to degrees and years of experience. You can actually go ahead and filter based on skills and find the right applicant based on the skill that you need for them to perform that job. So this is how you can leverage our taxonomy, embedded within your ATS, CRM, or recruitment app. Or if you're an enterprise using like a third-party ERP, we can integrate directly into there as well. Right? be it Salesforce, PeopleSoft, Oracle iRecruit, whatever you're using. So that is, in a nutshell, what we're helping the industry to do, because this has come up in the past couple of years. And a taxonomy has been in the works, and we gave it a final tweak to version 3.0 the past year. And it's up for grabs. It's ready for you to implement it. And don't take my word for it, right? So we have just a small plug here. So we have an incubator program that you can start with as low as $150 for 10,000 documents. Gives you full access to our resume parsing, matching, search and match, as well as the taxonomy API. So you can plug it into directly to your existing app and use it, for 3 years at a time. So that is my brief intro about Rchilli, our products, and sort of challenge that we've seen in the market of late. And I'll just take a pause here and open up for any questions that anyone might have.
Thanks, Lovepreet. That was a neat and crisp demonstration and presentation. So the question that I have for you is: are you seeing some trends that are of keen interest to you and Rchilli? And how do you think Rchilli is well positioned to meet these new trends and requirements of the marketplace?
Yeah, so the trend that I talked about, which is mostly the workforce relying more on upskilling and reskilling rather than your traditional ways of acquiring a degree in education. So that's the specific trend we've seen in the hiring space, because Rchilli's focus has always been applicants and resumes and jobs, because that's a product, right? And in that space, we've seen people apply with resumes that may not necessarily have an education that fits the job that they're applying for, but they have the skill set, right? And deep experience in the particular skill set. And because of that, we've brought out this taxonomy that further helps you to shortlist candidates and do away with the traditional, like methods of using a degree or a B school to qualify a candidate as a qualified or unqualified candidate. So it's more about, do you have the skills to actually do the job and excel rather than just having a degree.
Skills over qualifications. Thank you very much, Lovepreet. That was indeed an insightful presentation. We now move over to Alex of SeeMeCV. Over to you, Alex.
Hope I unmuted myself. Yeah, first of all, thanks so much, Sriram and the team for inviting me to present today. Very happy to tell you guys a bit more about SeeMeCV, about who we are and what we're doing in the market. So just going to share my screen here, make sure I share the right one. Voila. So just a little bit about SeeMeCV. So SeeMeCV, we've actually been around for a while. So we opened up our first offices back in 2006. So we're a Singapore-based company, and essentially we've been developing products always centered around the idea that candidate engagement is an essential part of the recruitment process, and also that candidates need a way that they're going to be able to stand out beyond just the CV. So actually, we as a business began with engaging universities in helping their students stand out in the application process by embedding video introductions within their paper CVs. But since then, and since 2010, we've actually developed our own software for virtual career fairs as well. Now, these virtual fairs, they started as virtual career fairs, and they've since grown out into a number of different other functions and areas. So one of the things that's been quite exciting for us is that since 2010, as the virtual fair environment has changed and become a bit more mainstream, we've had the opportunity not just to move with the trends, but actually try new things with clients as well. So our career fairs and our virtual fairs, they've been used by recruitment process outsourcing businesses in Singapore and around Asia Pacific. They've been used by employer branding agencies as well. And that's been for everything from doing at-scale recruitment, trying to hire at a high volume level for early careers or for internships, or even in an environment where you have an employer who's moving into a new market, their employer brand is lesser known, and so they're trying to land with a bit of a bang in a competitive market and get a bit more of an opportunity to do a branded engagement with the candidates in the market, as opposed to simply kind of job ads on the local job boards. So we've been used for virtual career fairs in those capacities, but also we've worked with universities, government organizations, on corporates, on everything from student career fairs to actually doing open days for universities. And even, for example, one of the universities here in Singapore just this year just did their third student union welcome week, where students who are going to be joining the university come in and then they get to see the different social clubs and sign up. So one of the things that I think is important to highlight is that, and this slide is a little bit about SeeMeCV, but it's also about the market in general. So it's obviously of no surprise to anyone, I think, that even though we've been doing these virtual fairs since 2010, 2020 was a big catalyst for us. It was a big catalyst for growth. We've seen a lot of businesses, universities, and even governments having to take these kinds of processes online. What we found very interesting is that beyond that kind of needs-based adoption, where because of COVID they had to have it, we're also seeing that this is looking to become the new standard, actually. So, and that's not just from what we're seeing, but also there was a LinkedIn APAC survey that showed that 72% of corporates think that virtual recruiting is going to become the new standard. So as you can see, just some numbers here from SeeMeCV. So in 2020, we had 1.6 million users. And obviously, as you can see there, that was a rapid acceleration for us as an organization, but that's continued. So even in the last quarter, we had over 150 days of virtual fairs just over the course of 3 months. And interestingly, we just got a report this morning, so it's perfect timing for this actually, but on the 24th of August, we actually got our record for the highest number of chats taking place in a single day on our platforms. So on the 24th of August, we actually had over 520 hours of conversations taking place on our fairs in a single day. So I think that what this serves to highlight, what's very encouraging for us, is that virtual fairs are here to stay. Now, the big question is how we differentiate ourselves and what is it that we do when we're working with our clients to commit to that mission of candidate engagement. So what I want to show you today, so essentially, as I think was shared earlier, I think that there's a lot to try and get through in a very short period of time. So what I want to highlight today is essentially just going through the platform and highlighting where that candidate engagement and candidate experience comes through. So just starting off, so SeeMeCV, when we talk about a virtual fair, it's quite interesting. The market, as a result of 2020, when someone says virtual fair or virtual career fair, that actually can come to mean a lot of different things. So to some universities or even a FTSE 100 businesses, they're doing career fairs on Zoom, or some of them are doing them on WebEx, and they're doing breakout rooms. Some of them it's asynchronous interviews where a volume of candidates gets to apply and do these kind of one-way interviews. When we talk about a virtual career fair, it's about maximizing that candidate engagement, getting the very best of what you used to see at physical career fairs. So essentially, the goal here, and you'll see a bit of this as I go through the system, is that the users and the visitors, they get the opportunity to actually properly engage with the material, properly get a sense of the business, get a sense of the organization, and it gives the corporates a chance to actually share the information they want to with candidates beyond just a speed dating type interview environment. So we want to create as an immersive fair where students are able to, or candidates are able to, go through an environment, search through different businesses, or if this is a corporate, search through different functions and understand what careers look like in these different areas. So we've seen this, for example, being utilized by multinationals who are going to be recruiting in volumes across multiple functions, either for early careers or just for volume, like, for example, their business process outsourcing organization. So this allows the candidates to be able to come in, explore, visit booths, see content. So what you're looking at right now is, for example, a booth that I put together, and I actually timed it. I put this together in 4.5 minutes. That's obviously because I've done it a few times, so no commitment there on how long it might take someone else. But essentially, what we're wanting to create is an environment where I, as a visitor, get to choose the amount of information I'm gathering, and also a corporate has a better opportunity to explain the merits of their organization. Because one of the things that we find, and why it's so important that organizers or booth holders get the chance to share and show this information, is because I, as a candidate, especially in 2021 now, I'm being barraged by different opportunities. In Singapore and a few other locations in Asia Pacific as well, the 2020 panic of shutting down roles, that's disappeared. So now there's more on the market than ever, and they're competing for candidate attention. And so that's where offering an opportunity for a corporate to be able to properly share their information with candidates is key. So for example, I as an exhibitor, I can set up my own booth. I don't need to, have to go through a funnel with the organizing party. The way that we've done this is it's self-service. So we make it as easy as possible for someone to be able to set up their own booth, choose the design that's right for them, upload information about their organization, introduce candidates to people within their organization and their team, allow people to apply for jobs directly through the system, not taking them out to ATS systems, not doing a presentation, then they have to go fill out their information elsewhere. They can apply in the fair, and they can even have their interview in the fair. And then one of the other things that we want to prioritize is that I, as a visitor, I want to be able to have opportunities to, talk to these exhibitors. So these exhibitors do have their own chat rooms for private chats, for one-to-one interviews, or even for group chats, so they can have kind of a Q&A, ask me anything about a career with this organization. And so within the system, we have that opportunity for large-scale engagement and presentation at both the functional level, but even the corporate level, where we have also obviously that mass engagement, where as well as that one-to-one networking between candidate and employer, we also have the mass engagement environment where you can have your one-to-many presentations, pre-recorded videos, or even your live stream with Q&A and polling. So oftentimes our fairs, they're taking place over 1, 2, or even 3 days, to allow maximum opportunity for candidates to be able to engage. Now, the final thing that I would highlight here is that one of the things that's most important is that you're not always going to get that. So for example, if you're running your fair from 9 to 5 p.m., you're not always going to get that chance for exhibitor and visitor to meet. So one of the things that we do, and one of the things that we find optimal about this, is that visitors can even log in when the fair is been concluded for the day. They can still peruse through material, they can still watch the videos, they can watch the live streams that were uploaded, and even continue applying to jobs. Especially with early careers, that's essential, because we see in that data there's always kind of another peak around 9-10 p.m. So it's about utilizing this platform, this online platform, as much as possible to allow candidates to engage in a manner that is most appropriate for them. And that's why whenever we design these fairs, each one is slightly different. So with our employers that we work with, or with the organizations we work with, we start with one question: what's your objective here? What does success look like? And then our fair will be designed bespoke. It will have their branding, it will have their information, but it will also be designed around the kind of functions that they are looking for to optimize the fair for their objectives, and finally have that access to data post-event as well, to understand, how did I perform? How engaged were my candidates? Were my candidates the most interested in this function or that function? And so as they continue to roll out these fairs, we have clients, for example, who are on their 5th fair with us now, and each time they're optimizing and they're tweaking based on what they've actually seen from the data their candidate experience was. And that's the as much as I can squeeze into my 10 minutes, actually. But I hope that gives you a good oversight over kind of some of the surface layer elements of our fairs.
Thank you, Alex. That's what we really wanted, a good broad overview of the product offering. Wanted to find out if you're seeing any interesting trends in the marketplace, and what's SeeMeCV's unique selling proposition.
Yep, absolutely. So I think that one of the major things that we're seeing in the market is that there's again, you've had in 2020, essentially, there was this quick rush into market where it was essentially, as soon as possible, I need to deploy a virtual solution. And so it was very much about, do I have a virtual solution or don't I, to my mass recruitment problems? In 2021, everyone's figured that out now. But the question is, does my virtual solution stand out? Am I memorable? So that's the biggest change now in the market. It's not just about having a platform, it's about ensuring that your platform is optimized for purpose, competitive, and memorable. So that's the major change. And then for us, in terms of that product differentiation, again, I think it comes down to that branding and that full experience. When you're getting Zoom fatigue, even as a student now, having an environment like this that's a bit more immersive, customized to the client's branding and the client's functions, I think that just allows that individual corporate message to be enhanced in that process.
total candidate experience. Thank you very much, Alex. I really appreciate your time and effort on this.
Thank you very much.
We now move to Guru from Xobin. Over to you, Guru.
Thanks, Sriram. Alex and Lovepreet, wonderful presentation. Really loved your products. So now let's quickly jump into Xobin. I'll share my screen right now. So Xobin, why the name Xobin? It's actually an acronym for job interviews. We are a skill assessment platform. We are almost 6 years old now. We started back in 2015, 2016 end. We are nearing over 1,000 customers. Majority of our customers are based out of North America. And, so we are a pretty vertical product. We've got customers in SMB segment and we've got customers in big enterprise segment as well. And fundamentally, we are trying to solve a core problem, which is when you're hiring people, the existing employees in your company will have to source them and, we'll have to screen them, right? If you're hiring engineers, your engineers will have to conduct interviews. They'll be sending these take-home assignments. See, all these things are consuming the time of your own team members, right? See, so broadly, we believe that your team should be working on bringing more, adding more value to your company. And we want the entire screening and evaluation operations to come to Xobin, right? So that's what we do best, So we are working with over a subject matter experts and statisticians, that community is over 150 big now. They're all subject matter experts from different domains. They have come and, they spend their time in Xobin to craft these powerful assessments. And then we check the validity by giving it to candidates in different geography, right? We do, and a lot of mathematicians also are involved in this so that we can give accurate scores to our customers. So on that note, we specialize in two things broadly. Spending 5-6 years in HR tech and trying to focus on few things is a real rare thing that you'll see in the market. Sriram can probably agree to that. But we specialize in these two things now, and skill assessments and psychometric assessments. So skill assessments, we've got over 1,000 different skills. 1,000 not rounded off. Actually, it's 1,200 plus right now. Every skill has a good bunch of questions in different levels of difficulty. We've got over 30 to 35,000 odd questions right now, which are continuously improved. So these questions are basically, multiple choice questions and coding questions and, questions that require video answers and so on. Okay. All created by our subject matter experts, and we are continuously creating this content. The second thing is psychometric assessments, which are actually professionally created by the psychometricians for roles in which a normal, boring MCQ question can't really can't really get much data from the candidate. So these are situational judgment questions. You throw a scenario at the candidate and see how he's reacting, and then you go ahead and score him accordingly, right? How can you basically judge the emotional skills of someone? How can you judge how good a salesperson can someone be? Instead of having to have an interview with your VP, he can probably take a psychometric assessment in Xobin and we'll figure out and give you, right? So these are the two modules we specialize in as a company, right? So as you can imagine, we are moving all the people, who used to have paper pen tests, right? In markets like India, there are companies who still invite the candidate to their office, even in the pandemic, and then they give them a paper to write the test, right? That's so bad. So we are moving all of them people and, to an online test. And so what happens is, for those people who don't have a test, few things improve. Like if you give a 45-minute test to a candidate, your no-shows for interviews drastically reduce. Okay, because the candidate is already committed 45 minutes in a test, right? And the chances of him accepting your offer and your funnel becomes healthy throughout the recruitment process, right? And of course, we specialize in making sure that the candidates don't cheat during the online exam, right? It's a very tempting thing for a candidate to do, right? Hey, can't I just Google it? So they may say that, but we've got all the checks and tools in place to make sure that they don't copy. So broadly, our customers have said that, their recruitment process has greatly speeded up, right? The number changes from company to company, but usually it is 3x. Sometimes I get ridiculed for saying the number 3x, but it's a very variable number, but at an average, it is actually 3x. Before Xobin, they were spending 3 times more amount of time in screening candidates, right? See, even for a company with with a lesser employer brand, posting a job in LinkedIn and promoting it for as little as $4 or $5 can actually get 100 candidates, right? How do you know which candidate is good? So a tool like us becomes a must-have. So I'm going to go ahead to the demo right now. So before I show some traditional dashboard things that you guys might have already seen, I'm going to start, since this is talking about candidate experience, right? And I'm going to talk about something which we have done new. Okay, so it's called the magic square problem, right? All of us know how these aptitude tests work, right? But can we rethink this aptitude test in form of some engaging game, right? Why don't we play a quick game, right? And check how brilliant I am. So my challenge is basically, I've got to assemble this. Most of you would have played such type of games. Basically, I'll have to, it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and by virtue of doing it, this picture is going to be as beautiful as possible, right? So I got to do this, right? But the thing is, it's not simple. This may look silly, but it is not easy. This is as complicated as an advanced cognitive aptitude test, right? So, and trust me, my cognitive aptitude is not that great, so I may not be able to solve this problem. But the reason why I'm showing you this is, right, we are pretty serious about assessments, and our number one goal is we want to ensure that the candidates don't get frustrated while taking up the assessment, right? See, most of you may be founders in this call, but if you are a candidate, you actually know that whenever you're taking up an assessment, you get this fatigue, you get this oh my god, I really can't do. And especially in work from home, you can simply close your laptop and walk out, right? So we strive to make sure that there's a great candidate experience throughout, and this is something that we are we are building hundreds of assessments like this instead of bringing by eliminating the traditional assessments, right? So, and it is getting extremely great traction. So with this, let's quickly move to the serious stuff. This is our admin dashboard. One thing Xobin is famous for is conducting high volume assessments. See, this is my account. Okay, so I have an account for my own company, and we ourselves have conducted almost 2,000. You see, we have over 1,573 candidates have actually completed assessment in last 1 year, right? And this is not the account we use for hiring. This is the account we use for demoing, right? So our platform is built in such a way in order to conduct a lot of recruitment events easily and to conduct high volume assessments. Okay, I'm going to do this demo in 2 parts. In the first part, I'm going to tell you how assessment creation happens. So firstly, you come to this assessment tab and you can probably find out any possible assessment in the world because we've already created for you. Speaking of which, you want to hire a quick Excel developer, you can quickly add to the dashboard and you'll find the test over here, right? Or if you want to be if you want to go ahead and create from scratch, right? If you've got maybe, or if you're going to be working with my team and create some professional assessment, you can go ahead and create assessment from scratch, and you will be taken over here to the screen where you can go ahead and get access to all our 30,000 vast question library, okay, in different skills, right? Marketing, finance. Under marketing, what are the different skills? Under technology, what are the different skills? And we go deeper. There are 4 levels of hierarchy in this UI, right? And content protection is a pretty serious thing. People try to leak these questions, so we keep on adding these questions on a day-to-day basis, and we even sometimes delete questions that have been taken more than a certain time across customers. So basically, you can quickly add the questions you want. And you can set timer, and you can set rules by saying that some people want things like hey, I want different candidates to get different questions. Why? Because if 2 friends are taking up a test, what happens is one guy takes up the test, and then after the test he calls up his friend and says that, hey, I got these 3 aptitude questions about this, that. And when if you set a custom rule, you can do such a way that the second candidate, when he takes up the test, he gets completely different set of questions, right? So we've thought about all this, and most of the features we have are what customers have requested. So these are all absolute necessary ones. Of course, you can set cutoff, and you can create your own questions. There is no obligation that you got to use our questions. You can create your own MCQ. Coding questions, we support almost 10 odd compilers right now, and we are adding new compilers every single month. You can add your own coding questions, or you can use Xobin's coding questions also. Yes, that's pretty much it. You won't get this customization in psychometric tests. You'll simply get, you have to basically put a request and our team will add it into your account, right? And you won't be able to edit a psychometric test, for various other reasons. But whatever, once you create a test, you can basically, invite a candidate by sharing the small link. So there is no, you don't have to create a job and then you don't have to pull in candidate. There is nothing of that sort. It's as easy as creating a form and then sharing it to people, right? You can just share this link and you can email people. In case if you don't want to email people, you can simply go ahead and upload a CSV file and upload a CSV file, and we'll invite all the people from our own emailing system, making your work much easier. Okay, so inviting is going to be as easy as that. And so let me probably this is a Excel test, to give you guys a flavor about what these tests look like. So this is a small, I'm taking a preview of this MS Excel test. It's got one section, 10 questions, 15 minutes time. So it's a simple interface, nothing to intrigue. So basically, so we give you, few basic things. Basically, whenever we are testing a tool, if you want to test a tool, our subject matter experts, would start by asking something simple. They would probably take a screenshot and ask for explanation. And then, of course, with Excel, you got to be good with your calculations, so on and so forth. So these are some questions to give you a quick example. And of course, our pre-built test comes with different levels of difficulty. You want to test someone senior, junior, you can do all, because we've kind of created assessments for different levels of difficulty. Right. What happens after you finish a test? After you finish a test, you get a report, right? There are two kinds of reports that you got to see. Okay. So this is my colleague's report. He's got 6 sections, and in each section he's got 0%. He's just taken this test for fun. So you can basically see good amount of statistics, section-wise statistics and overall statistics. But primarily what I wanted to show is we have something called as a proctoring, where you can actually record the candidate's activity while he's taking up a test, right? And you can actually cross-check to see whether he's the one who's actually taking the test up or not, right? So, in some geographies it's not required, but, in some hyper-competitive market in terms of for the candidates, right? Where there is high volume, these things become very, very important, because they easily tend to copy. So we've got these proctoring figures in check, and as a matter of fact, we don't even let them to take an off-tab activity. We track their off-tab activity and we don't let them move outside the tab. We penalize them. So we've actually put in years of experience, both our experience and smart candidates' experience into the picture, and build something where people can't really cheat. Can't is over exaggeration. In online, you can do everything. There are people who even hack bank servers. People can cheat, but we reduce the possibility. And we are right now, you can see that 95%. There is 95% of the candidate really can't cheat in our platform. Because mostly it will be their first time experience, and we were pretty serious about it. Yeah. So this is a report of a psychometric test. I was speaking about emotional intelligence, right? So you take our situational judgment test. We can tell you, what's his empathy level, what's his social intelligence, what's his attitude, how calm is he, how self-aware is he, right? This would probably take hours of an expert's time to figure out and put this metrics, but all it takes is a 30-minute Xobin test to actually find out, So, and when you do it for almost 1,000, 2,000 candidates, right, look at the amount of hours of a senior executive times you're saving. So that's the value sum. And this is the core of the product, guys. Rest all are, nice to have things. Like we have something called as My Candidates, where all the candidates in the platform will always by default be listed here, because we don't have something called as a jobs and stuff. It's an empty form. As and when people fill up a form, they come and land in this My Candidates folder, and we map everything with respect to an email ID. For example, if you take guru@xobin.com, these are all the different assessments that I have taken over a period of time. And okay, I can keep scrolling. No, it's more, because the past 6 years assessments you'll find here, right? So you can easily see the reports. Okay, same candidate has taken 2-3 reports. Let's see how he did in this assessment and how he did in this assessment. I can quickly do that comparison. Yes, and so this is the my candidates, and you can quickly create a list and save and use that list to invite the other candidates. This is just a tool which people can, whenever they're conducting high volume assessment, high volume recruitment events, this part becomes pretty handy. Okay. So couple of interesting things before I wrap up. So APIs, we are pretty serious about APIs. We give APIs. As a matter of fact, 30% of our customers just rely on Xobin's API. You can achieve almost anything and everything with our APIs. You can get the scores. We also support webhooks, wherein which you can actually, after you finish a test, you can put in the webhook and we will quickly call. And on top of this, our Zapier integration is live, meaning you can integrate almost any tool with Xobin. For example, if Rchilli is listed in Zapier right now, we can quickly integrate Xobin and Rchilli instantly. So it's as simple as that. So that's it. And there are people who have also built chatbots with our APIs. We built a chatbot with our APIs. So this is a quick chatbot kind of a UI. So I'll give my email ID. And I can select my job. Based on the job I select and the experience I select, an assessment will be created and the invite will be sent to my email ID, contact@radiostudie.guru. Okay, so that's going to be this thing. So our APIs are powerful. So that is it, guys. Over to Sriram.
Thank you, Guru. Pretty comprehensive indeed. Just wanted to find out, in the assessment space, are you seeing some interesting trends, and what differentiates Xobin from the others in the market?
Sure. So basically, the new thing in the market is people really don't want to the candidates specifically, since we're talking about candidate experience, they really don't want to prepare as much for an assessment. Gamified assessments and assessments in the form of game are the new trend. Right? People really don't want to answer an MCQ questions. Come on, you've been seeing those questions right from your childhood. You don't want to really have those questions carry out when you're 40, 45 years old. Interesting puzzles, interesting games, that would engage the candidate is a new trend. And so I hope you'll be able to drive this wave. The second part is Xobin is used primarily for high volume events. You take an average customer, they conduct 2,000 assessments per month. So it is a pretty, even in geographies where there is lesser candidates, they use a platform to assess candidates in some other countries, in adjacent countries, where there is high volume, right? And they can go to these campus recruitment drives where there are 5,000 candidates, right? And so our platform is completely built to support that kind of analytics, that kind of ease, right? Both in terms of technology, in terms of UI, and in terms of pricing, right? So everything is bundled to support a high volume recruitment event. And we specialize primarily in assessing 0 to 5 years of candidates, because the higher volume is there. So that's what sets us apart.
Very insightful, Guru. Thank you very much. So as we have seen, there's a lot of challenges that the TA teams are facing, but enabling and leveraging cloud-based solutions such as Rchilli, SeeMeCV, and Xobin can help TA teams, centralize kind of the recruitment process, which can avoid cost leakages, can help in better data-driven approach, leveraging the insights from these solutions, can ensure that there is a combined total candidate experience arising because of this integration of these tools. So you do resume parsing leveraging Rchilli, and then you do the screening leveraging Xobin's tools, and you can host virtual recruitment fairs in a jiffy with SeeMeCV. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Demo Hour. We look forward to hosting many more such innovative providers in our future sessions. Thank you very much.